before that, even before I get on to explaining the, how do you really do that and how do you work with the fragments and stuff and all, even before that, I would like to classify the content into various different types. So one is that typical web content wherein you have got HTML elements. I repeat, the HTML elements, the HTML fragments. But then otherwise, take a look at this image out here. Take a look at this image, or it can be any other site. You go to the landing page of any site, see this image here. Where is this image coming from? And whenever I try to, whenever, if it's Liferay, if I create a page and on the landing page itself, if suppose this is the kind of image that I want to show, this image needs to be there on the internet somewhere. Come on, isn't it? I'm sure each one of you all know basic HTML. I'm sure about that. So how do you present an image and how do you show an image in HTML? It is img src is equal to some or the other URL which points to the image. Come on, yes or no? That's how it is. So if I go to the inspect element, correct, beautiful. So if I go to the inspect element here, and if I select this, and if I say inspect out here, you see this, you can see this here, it does point to https hubspot.com. You can see this assets hubspot.com, blah 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 blah, and then there is a JPEG file. Here it is, there is a JPEG file. So it's impossible, like you cannot think of an image to be coming from nowhere. Of course it's coming from somewhere. So how are you going to put that image? I mean, where is it that you are going to put that image? Correct? You just can't keep on dropping the images. I mean, open your Liferay and then go to the Tomcat folder, and in some folder you just keep on dropping the images. No, that doesn't really make sense at all. So in Liferay, one is the web content. The other type of content is you can very well upload files. They can be Excel files, they can be Word files, and you can store it in the document management system. And moreover, you can also upload images. You can upload images. When you can upload Excel and Word and PDFs and stuff, why can't you upload images? So you can, so those are known as digital assets. I repeat, these are all digital assets that you upload and you keep it in the document management system. So that is also yet another type of content. Just another type of content, but yes, it's classified and better named as and better called as, document management system or images, or you may call it digital assets. Right, so you upload these files, and then once you have uploaded an image, you will be able to use that image in several places while designing the page. Not one page, but many pages. Any page that you design, you can just simply access that particular, and you can select that particular image once you have uploaded. So once you upload the image to Liferay, it stays in the repository of Liferay. Correct? That's how it is. Then there is some kind of a content. So I'll go back to my draw.io, and you see here, so what is the kind of content that we have talked about, friends? Web content. Okay, this is one thing that we have talked about. Then we also talked about what? We talked about documents, right? Documents, right? Then we also talked about what? Yes, these are also actually documents, but then calling it specially images, they are also documents, no big deal. Okay, or maybe digital assets. And then you also have special fancy. For example, I'm here and I'll go to resources, and can you see there is an option of blog here, right? And they have got hundreds of blogs. Blog is one of the most powerful ways of doing inbound marketing. Inbound marketing. What is inbound? What is outbound marketing? You reach out to the prospects and you say, hey, hello, this is the service and this is the product that I have to offer. Are you interested? Through some means. Maybe you send an email. That's outbound marketing. But you write a blog and you don't tell anyone. I mean, you don't ask anyone to visit your blog, but of course you're going to post that blog on social media. Of course, you're going to post that blog on LinkedIn and Facebook and stuff and all, but you write a blog. Now someone may come across your post and clicks, and he comes over here and he is reading the blog, and once he reads a particular blog, see, all of these are the blogs. Come on, yes. And if I click over here and if I see the blog, I read the blog and I like the blog and I understand, oh wow, I get so much of good information from here, which is the company HubSpot. Oh wow, that's good. Let me talk to them and maybe they can help me in my marketing. So this is how blogs help you in inbound marketing. Blogs, extremely important, friends, extremely important. So this is again content. You may call it, Chakra, this is also content. But blog is a content which you would like to create and store, and there are quite a few special attributes associated to the blog. I repeat, blog is again web content. It's web content, right? It's web content again. You've got an image, you've got some title here, you've got written by so and so and so on. But then it has got some additional attributes. The best and the most important attribute, to talk about is who has written that blog. It makes a difference. I would like to see the profile of this person when I read something about when I read this blog. I would like to know who has written this blog. Correct. And then an image associated to the blog. I may want to see the total number of views that blog has already received. I may want to see the tags associated to the blog, and you can see this. I may want to see the category that blog belongs to. I may want to understand how much of time it will take for me to read the blog, right? And then yes, you see towards the end of it, maybe the question answer session, I may put a comment here against the blog. You see this, and then see topics. This is the tag. Hello friends, this is the topic. This topic here is actually nothing but the tag that is associated to this particular blog. And then see this, all of this, and then there are related articles. Well, those are related blogs. So these blogs or articles, these are again very important type of content. So Liferay also provides something like blog. So you can create blogs, again web content, but specially categorized. It has some special attributes, that you would expect when it comes to writing and publishing blogs. So here you go. Web content, blog, documents, images, all of this is what? This is content. My dear friends, this is content. Generally put, all of this is content. But of course, as I said, web content and the blogs and then the documents and then the images and so on. Correct? Your job as a programmer, your job as a Liferay specialist, a Liferay developer would be not only, in fact, you know what? You would not be, see, when you are a Liferay specialist, you are not a blogger. See, no, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not saying you're not a blogger if you're a Liferay specialist. You can very well write blogs. What I'm trying to say is that you are not expected and cognizant when you are a Liferay specialist. Your manager is not expecting you to work on Liferay writing blogs. He is not expecting you to upload images. He is not expecting you to write web content. He is expecting you to provision a Liferay server for the customer of Cognizant who will be using blogs, writing blogs, uploading content and so on. You're getting the point. So what is it that you will be doing? Just simply start the server and give it to the customer? No. As a Liferay specialist, what is Cognizant expecting from you? They are expecting, perhaps the customer comes back and says, hey, we want the changes in the look and feel of the blog. That means they are asking for the customization. You must be able to do it as a Liferay specialist. They come and say, okay, with respect to web content, everything is fantastic as far as the web content is concerned of Liferay, but this is the customization that you need. Here comes your role as a Liferay specialist. Now you will open up your ID and you'll start doing something so that you customize it. Right? They come and say, your customer comes and says, okay, this is how I want to structure my documents and images. Help us out. Then you structure the documents and images and you provide your consulting to them, and they understand, okay, this is how I am supposed to structure my documents and images. That's where your specialty comes into picture. And moreover, maybe your customer, not maybe, that's how it is. That's where the projects come from, and that's how the projects of Liferay come to your Cognizant. Your customer of Cognizant says, hey, we are using Liferay and we've got all of these beautiful features in Liferay. We are good with this, but we want you to build a special widget for us. All of this is cool. We are going to use this. We will use this, but in a special widget. Maybe that widget is like, employee registration form, or maybe a form wherein you can register for a training program, or maybe there is some kind of a widget that they are expecting, and some kind of special content management system that they are expecting, or they are expecting some kind of special way of handling the documents and stuff, some specific business specific application they are expecting. That's how they come to you, and you will be writing code in order to build custom components, custom widgets, so that your customers can use it. All right, but then otherwise you will not be able to move ahead even an inch doing any customization in Liferay if you do not understand the fundamental structure and how Liferay works itself. If you don't understand whatever is out of the box provided by Liferay, that is something that you need to understand. If you do not understand that, then how on earth will you be able to customize anything in Liferay, right? So, but then as far as content is concerned, today our focus will be on content. Of course, in this training program, we are going to spend good amount of time writing code for custom widgets. That's in fact one of the most critical part of our training program. We will spend a good amount of time doing that. But then before that, let's get more and more acquainted as much as possible. Let's get acquainted to Liferay so that it's like, we are hand in glove with Liferay. We are so comfortable with the fundamentals of Liferay and with the out of the box features of Liferay that there is a friendship established, there is a connect established with Liferay, and then you feel absolutely comfortable doing the customization or building custom apps on top of it. Right, friends? So all set for it, right? Okay, all set for it. Okay, good. So what I want you to do now is, I want you to start your servers if at all not yet started. I want you to bring Liferay up and running. I will also need time. I will do that right here in front of you. I will also need time to do it because this is, I said, yesterday I was using a different machine. This is a different machine, and I will need some 5 minutes to set up the things on my machine as well. Alright, so that's what I will be doing right here. Maybe you can take a look at it, whatever I'm doing, and this is something that we have already done yesterday, but I'm redoing it on this machine. It won't take more than 5 minutes or so. Maybe you take a look at it, or maybe you get started with your own server that is already installed and running yesterday. Right, friends? Okay, so Intellij Idea, that's what I'm going to get started with. I will check whether in plugins the plugin is already installed or not. Liferay plugin, yes, Liferay plugin is installed. I go to my projects, I'll say new. Okay, and then Gradle Workspace. This is something that we have already discussed yesterday. And instead of trainings, I'll say cognizant. Right, I will pick up the same folder. You remember yesterday, just a few minutes back, we created folder, and then I'll say date modified. Okay, trainings, within trainings cognizant, and I'll just drag and drop it over here so that if at all I need to get to it, it becomes easier. Okay, and then cognizant, and I say Liferay projects. Okay, Liferay projects. Okay, and then I hope you recollect that yesterday we had selected this, right? The community edition portal 7.4 GA3, and then I'll keep this, or maybe I use another JDK. I will not use 11, I better use 1.8 version of JDK. Here you go. Alright, so I have configured it 1.8 version of JDK, and I say finish. Alright, it says the folder does not exist, no problem. Let it create the folder, and you see this, it comes up. Right, so I have my project getting created. You see this Gradle build is happening, and within few seconds it will be created. I will have my Liferay projects workspace created over here. So this is my workspace, Gradle based workspace, recommended. Not that that's the only option. As you might have seen, you do have option to create a Maven based workspace as well, but you will find people more often than not using Gradle based workspace. That is more kind of, I would say, natural to Liferay. Okay, not that Maven doesn't work, but let's use Gradle. Okay, so it's just indexing and everything. So this is the first time I've opened this. Cool. So I have it here. You can see this Liferay projects. It's done. See the folder in which it has created training / cognizant / Liferay projects. Got that? And then I can very well click right mouse button here, and what is it that I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to initialize the bundle. When I say initialize bundle, what is it supposed to do? It is supposed to get me the Liferay bundle from their repository, and it's downloading it. You see, it's not going to take much of time. Yeah, it's almost done. Task verifying the bundle, and after it has verified the bundle, yeah, it's done. Beautiful, right? It's done. Okay, so I say view and tools. If you have got, if you do not have good internet connectivity, then in that case this may take some time because it does the download. Now I'll go to services. I'll pick up services. I'll say add. I'll say run configuration. I'll say Liferay server, and you see it brings up my Liferay server. So this is the bundle that has got installed. You can see this is the bundles that got downloaded and it got installed. Here you go. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just clicking here. I will click here and I say show excluded files, so that bundle stuff and all goes off, because I have no business making any changes to it or doing anything to it, right? So I have just clicked here and I said show excluded files off. If I take it again, it comes back. But if I click here and I say show excluded off, it goes off. That's exactly what I want. Correct. Now I can very well click out here and then I can say run, and this will run my server. You see this? Right, the server is starting up. So now I believe you all have also all started the server, friends. Can I assume that you'll have all started the server, friends? Can I assume that you'll have all started the server? The server has started on the machine. Super, good, very nice. Good. Nice. Okay, so this is the first time it sets up everything, and this is the reason why it is taking so much of time. But then otherwise, once you have started the server once and for all, and then later on, even if you stop the server and start it again, it shouldn't take that much of time. But then yes, it's a full-blown portal, so it takes a bit of a time to start. Okay, so it has started, right? So it says in so and so milliseconds it has started the server. Now I'll just clear this off, and you see my server has started. I can very well go back to my Chrome and I can say localhost 8080, and this brings up the basic configuration screen. Why? Because this is the very first time I have initialized the bundle and I have started it. So the first name that you have over here is, you need to give your first name. So I'll say Muhammad Shakir, this is my first name, and I say M, and then whatever is the email ID, that this email ID is the username. This becomes the username, and so what will happen here is this becomes the email domain by default of this virtual instance, the default virtual instance, and this becomes this entire thing becomes the Omni administrator. So whenever I log in as Shakir at mslc.in, this is the Omni administrator. You can do furthermore changes over here. You want to keep this as the language, that's fine. And if you want to keep the timing as let me change this to India Standard Time, IST, and then I can just simply say, by default, the database that it uses. So all the configuration that we do, see this? All the configuration that we do, take a look at this Liferay cluster, or for that matter, to start with this Liferay instance, this entire thing, this Liferay instance that is running is related to or is connected to a database, and the default database is hypersonic. This is the default database, hypersonic, right? This is absolutely for testing purpose and for for the sake of just trying your hands on Liferay, but of course not meant for production at all in any ways. This is not a multi-user database. In fact, it's a very, very simple standalone desktop based database which is hypersonic database. So of course this is not we are going to use in production. You can always configure Liferay to use MySQL or Oracle or any other RDBMS, right? You can very well do that. And then you've got cluster. Of course, if this is a cluster as well, all of these will also be connected to the same database, right? Of course, it's a cluster of instances, Liferay instances, but then the configuration is supposed to be same. So maybe if you have MySQL database or maybe an Oracle database or whatever, in real life, because in real life, of course, you will not have hypersonic, isn't it? You will never do that. So this is what you have. And from here also I will draw. Here you go. Here you are. And then from here also I will have a arrow running here. Correct? This is how it is, correct? So you've got MySQL or Oracle or something like that, right? So that's what the database is. So by default, hypersonic is the database. If you want to make changes to it, you can very well give the JDBC URL of MySQL or Oracle. You can very well specify the driver name, and of course you need to specify the username and the password of the database that you want to connect to, and in that database it stores all the data. I hope you are all there with me. All there, friends? Good. Nice. Very nice. Beautiful. Great. Okay, so of course it connects to the database, and it needs a database. You cannot imagine Liferay without the database. I repeat, you cannot imagine Liferay without the database. I said the virtual instance is created. Where is this virtual instance getting created? Virtual instance in the database, right? It's there in the database. That's how it is. Right, where is this custom virtual instance that we have created? Where is this getting created? The configuration of this entire thing, the name, the email domain, the virtual host that we have given, where is it stored? It is getting stored in the database. The site that is created, what is the name of the site, and what are the parameters of that site, and what are the attributes, like for example SEO related and title and this and that. Where is it? It is stored in the database. That site has got content. Where is the content? All of this content that we talked about. Blog, for example, is a type of a content, and if I create 100 blogs, where are those hundreds of blogs going to get stored? In the database. Needless to say, all the web content, the documents, of course, now the documents, there is an option. You can store the documents in a blob type of a field in the database. You can very well do that, binarily large object, but not advisable. Whenever you upload documents, it stores that document in the file system, but it does create an entry of that uploaded file in something called file entry. There is a table in the database called file entry, and I will show you the entire database. Don't worry about that. I will show you the entire database. Correct. So you have file entry table, in which there is an entry made that this is the file, this is the primary name, this is the extension of it, at so and so date and time it was uploaded, this is the size of it, all the metadata information, not my words, all the metadata information of the file is stored over there, and then who has access rights to it, and everything else is stored there. But then the physical file is stored on the file system. Right? So let me go to my Finder, and then in the Finder, Cognizant, this is where Liferay projects got created. You remember the bundles folder? This is where the bundle is. This is exactly where you have data, and within the data, can you see this hypersonic? This contains my database related stuff because it is hypersonic. Otherwise, if it is MySQL, you won't have a folder here called MySQL. But then this is the document library which stores the files. This stores the file over here. Right, this stores the file, and the versioning and everything is all beautifully maintained. This is the folder in which all the files are maintained. I repeat, this is the folder in which the files are maintained that you upload. So the document management system, using this, if you upload a file, it gets stored in the file system. And of course, but then there is a file entry in the database that maps to this file which is there in the file system, right? It's there. Okay, so documents, and then you've got images. Again, images are stored in the document library and so on. Correct? That's how it is. So all of this is stored in the database, friends. Come on, all of this is stored in the database. So going back to Chrome, I can very well change the database. Use the default, it uses hypersonic, or else whatever database I want, Oracle, MySQL, whatever, SQL Server. So I'll say finish the configuration, as we have been doing since yesterday. We have done this several times, and then the password is, I will give my default passwords that I always use on my local machines. And then yes, it says what is the middle name of your father, so that it can help me to retrieve. And then okay, here you go. All right, so here I am with the default site all set. Correct. So can I assume that you'll have all created, you'll have all started the site successfully? Yes, I can see yes from everyone. That's brilliant, that's super, that's fantastic. Really, I'm so very happy. Brilliant, fantastic, brilliant, very good, very nice. So let's start with the content then. In that case, do you have any questions? Let me take a pause here. Do you have any questions? Any questions? Any doubts?
Yeah, Shakir, I just wanted to, you talked about the cluster, right? So in that cluster, like all those work instances, not the instance, the JVM, like physical instance, we have multiple physical instances, right? In that particular cluster.
Wait a minute. This is what you're talking about, right? This is the cluster. Yeah. So what is your question?
So here, the first one, second one, third one, all are in one single cluster, right?
Yes.
So are these all the copies of each other, or these are like individually like different from each other?
Okay, it's a good question. So you see this not only with Liferay, with anything in the world. Whenever you say cluster, the cluster will have physical instances. That means machines. This is machine 1, M1. This is machine 2, M2. This is machine 3, M3. Three physical machines. Three different boxes, right? Okay, and I say physical machines, they can be EC2 virtual instances on Amazon also. So that's beyond the scope of a discussion. But then yeah, these are three different machines, and on each one of these machines, the Liferay instance is installed. So it's a replica. It's exactly the replica. But then all of these three Liferay instances are connected to which database? Different databases or the same database, Revati? Sorry?
The same database.
Yes, it's the same database. So my question to you here is, when the content is served, note my words very carefully, see the way I'm making the statement. When the content is served by any one of these instances, because the load balancer might have forwarded the request to maybe this instance or maybe this instance, whichever the instance is, whenever the request is served by any one of these instances, don't you think it will pick up the same content? Come on, yes or no? It will pick up the same content or not?
Yes.
Yes. Why? Because it is all connected to the same database, all of these instances. Yeah. So it's a replica. To answer your question, yes, it is a replica. Each one of these are all similar installations, just that in order to balance the load, maybe some users have landed here, say 500-600 users have landed here, another 500-600 users have landed here, and another 600-700 users have landed over here. No problem. So in order to divide the load, you are installing the same, you are creating the replica, you are installing same Liferay on all of these three. And Liferay is a program, but then of course the content that it brings up, that it serves, the content comes from the database, and all of these will be connected to the same database. I hope that answers the question.
And the load balancer.
No, your voice is low. I'm so sorry, your voice is low.
Yeah, I'm saying like the load balancer is only one, right? For the entire Liferay.
Yeah, it has to be. And it is not only with Liferay, with anything. So the load balancer thing that I have explained to you is not specific to Liferay. This is how you balance the load across multiple instances in anything. Not only for Liferay, it can be any other normal Spring Boot based application. And I might have installed Spring Boot on 3 different instances, and I may have a load balancer created.
Yeah, understood.
Okay, fine. So now coming back over here, I have going back over here. So my server has started, and you see this, I've got my Liferay instance also over here running, and since I have logged in as Omni administrator, I do have access to these controls, which helps me to create the content. And we did get our hands with creating the content yesterday, but in a very, very simple way. But then otherwise, you see there are options out here. Can you see there is content and data out here? Right, you can see this content and data. So you see this here, you've got something called web content, correct? You've got web content, you've got blogs, right? We did talk about this just few some time back. And then you've got documents and media. We did talk about this, right? So when you say media, these are like kind of images and videos and stuff and all, but otherwise they are also documents, and hence it is in the same category, documents and media. Dynamic data list is what you can do with you can create system of records. That's called system of records. It's a very common term that is used. System of records, like you just want to maintain the list of all the employees. You want to maintain the list of all the hardware in your organization. You want to maintain the list of all the laptops in your organization. You just want to maintain the ID, the name, and the address and stuff. If it's laptops, then the configuration of it, and then who currently who is in whose possession that laptop is in the organization, all that stuff. Just want to maintain system of records, you can use data list. Forms, you can very well create forms dynamically. No piece of code to be written, just dynamically you can create forms. And when you create forms, you can specify that okay, it will provide a complete form designer, and in that form designer you can drag and drop and say I want these fields, and then you submit, and then you drag and drop the form on some particular page, and then users will be able to use that form in order to do the data entry. They will be able to use that form in order to provide some inputs. Correct? Beautiful stuff. Knowledge base. This knowledge base is exactly nothing but wiki. Come on, we all know about wiki, right? Wikipedia. We all know about it. Come on, yes. So it's wiki. This knowledge base is actually nothing but wiki. Then you've got message boards. This is forums. This is forum. So I'll go back to my draw.io. I'll go back over here. So what other type of content do we have? We have got wiki, right? But is it known as wiki? No, it's known as what? Knowledge base. Okay, and then I say in brackets wiki. You do also have something called message board. What is that message board, my dear friends? Tell me. Forums. What are forums? So message board. Right, message board. So what is this Stack Overflow? What is the Stack Overflow? It's a forum, right? It's a forum, right? It's a forum. So say for example, if I go to any one of these Stack Overflow, say for example, okay, DevOps engineers. Okay. No, I better Google on issue with installation of Liferay. I'm hopeful that it will take me to Stack Overflow. Yeah, here you go. Okay, Stack Overflow. So what is this? This is the forum. This is the forum. Right, there is a question asked by someone, and then you answer that question, you reply to the answer, then you reply, and then so on, and there is a thread that is running. This is the forum. So similarly here also in Liferay you have got something called message boards, which is actually nothing but forum. So here I'll say message board, and in brackets I'll say forum. Forums, right? Again, it's very, very powerful, and you can do wonderful things here. And then wiki. Okay, knowledge base. Now what they have done is that wiki and knowledge base, they have segregated with some additional attributes here in case of knowledge base. We will see what those attributes are, but then wiki is something which is age old, and it is there since ages, right? So that's how it is. And then translation process is again a new thing that they have provided over here. Currently there are no entries. We will see what that is if time permits, but then otherwise all of these are the ones which are most critical. So this is the content. So these are the different types of content that you can create. And what I want you to do now is that first let me do it, and then you can do it on your own machines. I will give you sufficient time to do the same on your own machine. So I'll say plus, and I'll say okay, you can organize your content in folders. I repeat, you can organize your content in folders. So I can create a folder, and within the folder I can create content. Or else I can just simply create a basic web content right from here. So I say a folder, for example, and I say trainings. Okay, and I say save. I'll keep the permissions default, and then within that folder I'll go to this trainings folder, and I say plus, and I can also create folders within a folder, but then I won't do that. I'll just simply say basic web content, and now it is asking for the name of the web content. I'll say getting started, okay, with web content, right? And this is the editor where you can type your content here. So I will say web content in Liferay, and I can use this editor that they have provided. I will select this, you see this, and I can mark this as heading. You can see this, friends. Such a beautiful thing here. And then I can also just go ahead and I can put images and stuff and all, but don't worry about that. And for now I'll just simply say this is web content feature of Liferay. You got that? See, I'll just keep this here as it is for now, and I'll say publish. Okay, when I publish, you see this is the content that is created, isn't it? Right. Okay, so I'll take a pause here. I want you to explore all this. Just click and explore. Okay, then I want you to come back to the web content. I want you to create a new folder, right? And I will also explain to you structures and templates later on. But then, you know, come to the folder, create a folder, come to the web content, create folder, and just within one folder, that particular folder, get started with web content, and just put some content. You know, click on that and put some content here, and then publish the content. Right, friends? Do this on your own, and I will give you sufficient time to explore this, and then we will get started. Right, in the meanwhile, this cleaning work of my maid will also be done. Right, friends? Thank you so much.